This is tutorial 1, level 3, autumn leaves. So by now you should be very familiar with autumn leaves. If you've looked at tutorials at level 1 and level 2, you'll know about the harmonic sequence and some ideas for improvising. At level 3, I'm going to introduce some more complex scales and some alternatives in the harmony. So the chord sequence that I've got in front of me starts the same way as the regular chord sequence. Instead of going to chord 1, we go to a chord which is a semitone higher, a minor 2-5-1. So that last one there is chord 1, but it's been made a minor, and that becomes a 2-5, and then we're back to our 2-5 into the relative minor, or actually the home key. So I'll just show you that if you listen to the bass movement. And that works because you can hear a sequence going down in fifths. I actually went up, but it could have gone down. And that's used by many musicians. You might have heard Miles Davis using that in his versions of Autumn Leaves. In the second time bar, I've put a minor major 7 chord. So the resolution, instead of, I've made it go to, and that's a minor chord with a major 7. And that's just for a different sound, just for an alternative. The altered chord is used quite a lot in this version. I'm using it at the end of the the first A section. So at the end of the A section, our minor chord, which is when we get to G minor if you're in C, the home key. I'm going to use that as a dominant 7th, but I'm going to make it an altered chord, and that goes back to chord 2. So that just pulls really strongly. In the middle 8, usually we have a minor 2-5-1, but instead of the minor 7 flat 5, I decided to put in an altered chord, and then another altered chord for chord 5, and then chord 1. And then just like I did at the end of the first A section, I'm going to put an altered chord there, and then back to 2-5-1. A variation on chord 1, you can put in a sharp 5, which makes it an augmented chord. So in that chord, this is B flat major 7. I've got the 5th, which is an F sharpened, normal chord 4, 2-5, and then this descending pattern, which is chord 1, down a semitone, down a semitone. Now sometimes here people will play it as a 2-5, but you can also go down a semitone, and that's a tritone substitution. In this case it's going to E, which is a tritone for B flat. A substitute for the usual 2-5-1. So right at the end of the sequence we usually get 2-5-1. But I've substituted chord 2 for the tritone down, which is an E flat. And I've changed the chord type to a Lydian dominant. And then a dominant 7th, the normal chord 5, but I've made it an altered chord. And then resolved to the minor. So those are ways of playing over, those are chords, alternative chords for playing over autumn leaves. In the next tutorial, what I'm going to do is look at some of those ideas, such as the altered chords, and discuss ways of playing them, and also look at some lines that fit some of those descending 2-5-1 patterns.